Deep beneath the frost-backed mountains sits Orzammar, the larger of two known remaining dwarven cities in the world. Orzammar was once the seat of a major empire connected by tunnels called deep roads, which stretched thousands of miles. The city now stands alone, cut off from the rest of the dwarven ancestral lands by the Darkspawn incursion. Secure in Orzammar's impregnable construction, the dwarven noble houses continue their centuries-old power struggles. Assassination and blackmail are commonplace, but the appearance of honor is paramount. You are the second child of King Endrin of House Eidoukan, the 9th Eidoukan ruler elected by the Noble Assembly. You grew up in a world rife with political intrigue, and have struggled against brothers and cousins for honor and prestige. Today, a feast celebrates your first military commission, the opening move towards real power in the ever-changing game of dwarven politics.
Greetings, my lord. You are dressed and ready. Excellent. I couldn't find the armor's matching dagger, but I scrounged up a rather fancy longsword. Do you wish to wear your shield to the noble's feast? Why not? Tradition dictates every king and assembly lord of note was a warrior first. Of course, you could always be the first baker turned king. Can you bake? One can't take all this marching about and speech-making too seriously. Moving on to the business at hand. The king expects you to make an appearance at the feast, but there's no rush. The noble family heads will spend hours boring your father with petitions and petty grievances. The usual. This lord had my cousin killed, this lord seduced my wife, this lord did the exact thing I'd planned to do to him, but he did it first. They pose and bluster, and each pretends he is the honorable man in a den of thieves and assassins. Bah. The rest is worth seeing, though. As part of the celebrations, permits have been auctioned off to members of the merchant caste who wish to sell wares in the Diamond Quarter. Lord Harrowmont has also opened up the provings for young warriors to test their mettle before tomorrow's battle. Perhaps we should go show them what single combat is really all about. And by we, I mean you. I'll practice my cheering. You remember last year's open proving? It took your father's smith 6 hours to remove my helmet. I'm not meant for single combat. I fight as my lord's second in shield. That's enough for me. Right behind you, my lord. The day is ours until the feast.
It has begun.
Congratulations on being named Commander, my lord. No sign of trouble here.
Oh. I'm sorry. I thought you were Prince Balin coming down the hall. Forgive me.
It seems she's one of your brother Balin's newest, companions. Prince Balin is attending the feast being held in Lord Edukan's honor.
Yes, of course. It was presumptuous of me to think that he would return to... I am sorry. I will show myself out, with your leave, my lord. Thank you. I will go now.
I am at your service. Serve the Edukans. I am at your service.
You sure you want to go to the feast now? I doubt we can escape to see the provings once we're inside. If that's the way you want it, duty it is.
Very well.
Look, the Grey Wardens are here. The raid tomorrow must be more than a standard mission. The Wardens only go where the Darkspawn are the greatest threat.
Many thanks for your willingness to hear me out, my lord. I wish to speak to you of a matter most urgent. There is a vote coming before the Assembly next week, and a word from you could go a long way towards helping our cause. Oh, I would never ask a favor with nothing given in return. I propose a mutually beneficial arrangement. The vote concerns the status of the so-called surface caste. Lost to the stone, air-touched, and so forth. Centuries ago, narrow-minded men declared that any dwarf who left to live on the surface forfeited his caste, and his house if noble. That he was, in essence, no longer a dwarf. I seek only to remedy an injustice, to retie the bonds of anyone who can trace himself to one of the noble houses wherever he may live. Please, agree to speak for this noble cause. Those on the surface are our lifeline. They facilitate trade with the surface. They're honorable and, let's be honest. I don't care a whit for those who have wandered from the stone. My wife, however, is a gem of a different color. She has a cousin, a useless sort, but she's quite fond of him. He joined a speculative venture to the surface, hoping to make his fortune, and went bust. Now he wishes to come home, but he cannot, for he has no house and would be casteless. For my wife's sake, I take up his cause. Will you lend me your voice? I am quite disappointed in your lack of sympathy. Good day to you.
Greetings, my Lord Edukan. It is an honor to meet you at last. I have had the opportunity to recently meet with your father. He speaks highly of you. He says you may be the most skilled warrior in all of House Edukon. I have no doubt it is deserved. We need more Grey Wardens like you, and quickly. Even as the Darkspawn weaken here in Orzammar, they are stirring on the surface. A blight has begun. Soon the fight must go beyond the deep roads, lest the Darkspawn threaten all the world. You know of our dedication to destroying the Darkspawn, our frontline presence during a blight. What else would you know? Being a Grey Warden means abandoning all ties to your old life. It means dedicating yourself to destroying the Darkspawn. I'm afraid not. Grey Wardens go where they're needed most. Right now, that is on the surface at the ruins of Ostagar, where the human king gathers his armies to face the blight. Over the centuries, many dwarves have made names for themselves in our order. These days, however, there are fewer dwarves, and thus even fewer dwarven Grey Wardens. A pity, since dwarven warriors have the most experience fighting Darkspawn. Then it is a good thing that you have other paths before you. Some are not so lucky. I wish you luck in the deep roads tomorrow. Show the Darkspawn the might of your people.
My king, please reconsider. Trade contracts alone could bring great prosperity to our houses.
Will we really turn our back on our brothers and a potential fortune in cheap labor because of a political technicality?
Denial of the traditions of our people does not qualify as a political technicality. There is more to life than monetary gains, my lords Bimo and Mino. The Assembly of Kal Sharok will respect the rule of Orzammar, or they will rot and die alone, surrounded by enemies.
Yes, my king.
But look, we have company to spare us further wrangling. Atrast Vala, my son. How fine you look in your great-grandfather's armor. Are you ready to be presented to the heads of the noble houses? So dutiful. Very well, let us begin. Lords, ladies, grant me a moment of your time. We are here today so I may present to you my second eldest child, blessed by the stone and born of the blood that ran in the veins of the Paragon Edukon. Who would pose a question to the prospective commander? Who seeks to know the prospect better? No? Very well then. The ritual is complete. I give you Orzammar's next commander. Tomorrow, our newest commander will lead part of a mission to strike a great blow to the Darkspawn. Not only does this recover access to some of our most important mines, but it also allows our honored guest Duncan, head of Ferelden's Grey Wardens, to strike far into the deep roads.
Thank you, King Endrin. While the Darkspawn seem to withdraw, it is only because they are massive on the surface. This could mean a blight, and my men and I will discover the truth.
We are honored to have you with us, my friend. Now, feast, drink, and celebrate, for the morning brings battle! As for you, my new commander, find your brother Trian and send him to me. He may be watching the provings, or getting some rest in his rooms. Don't question everything. Just go for the ancestors' sake.
Your father has allowed the merchants to show their wares in the Diamond Quarter during these celebrations.
Sure, we can work this out reasonably. It's in the records. There's nothing I can do. Please, Master Volney. My work is accredited by the Shaper. These books are lies written by the enemies of House Volney.
I write only what I find in the ancient records. Lord Idukan, you can vouch for my work, can't you? Your father loved my History of Idukan, Paragon King, Peacemaker.
This worm has written a book that slanders my house. He deserves to die for what he has written of Paragon Volney.
My work tells the stories of all those raised to paragons in the last 500 years. When the Assembly names a paragon, that man or woman is then, by definition, everything one can aspire to be in the world. They form their own noble houses and are revered as living ancestors. But paragons start off as men.
Volney was more than a man.
Idukan was much loved, but he was still a man. He was plagued by melancholy, and his fervor regarding Orzamar's safety bordered on obsession. When Idukan was proposed as a paragon, only one lord in the Assembly objected. The others savagely hacked him to death. Idukan's motion passed without a single dissenting vote.
Unlike Volney, is that what you mean, old man?
Volney became a paragon by the narrowest margin in history. One vote. A vote mired in rumors of intimidation, intrigue, and outright bribery. The records of that vote are kept in the Shaperate and are a matter of fact. Not liking history doesn't make it any less true.
You're taking his side? What if he published a book like this about your paragon Idukan? You would not say so if it was your house, but I shall respect your wishes. For now, excuse me, Your Highness.
That fool has no idea how weak his house is or how low he sits in it. Shall I have him killed, my lord? As you say.
You've shown House Idukan a friend to research, history, and the glory of our people. Of course, I have much to document and organize. Good day, Your Highness. And thank you.
Outrageous. You certainly have some gall, merchant.
But my lord, these are surface silks, dyed with the finest saffron and indigo and embroidered by skilled elven tradesmen. I've seen Prince Balin Idukan himself wearing a robe made of something quite similar.
So I pay your exorbitant price, only to end up looking like a poor imitation of Prince Balin. You'll get no coin from me.
But that's not what I meant, my lord. My lord!
Did you see those noble hunters? Shameful.
Look at this piece, darling. It rivals even the work of the Paragon Smith herself.
Nonsense, woman. Your words bring shame upon our house. See how the edges are rough and pitted? Would you compare this to Branca's work? Trust a woman to speak of things she doesn't understand. Be quiet now and pray the ancestors deliver Branca back safely.
What about that one?
I doubt he's up to the task. I'm not going down that road yet.
Oh, I would love
My lord, are you heading to the proving arena? He did pass this way a short time ago. Shall we escort you to him?
I clean forgot about that. Forgive me, I should have informed you sooner. The king decided you were not to travel through the commons unguarded. I did mention the merchants that won permits to show their goods in the Diamond Quarter. There were only so many permits auctioned off, and quite a few were turned away. Your father fears you will be harassed on the way to the proving.
Will we be leaving then?
So you're a commander now, in name at least. Shouldn't you be attending our King Father? Of course he does. We must discuss strategy before tomorrow's battle. Balin, stay here and stroke the new commander's conceit if you like. But then get to bed.
All day I've put up with that. It can really grate on the nerves. Is it also his right to secure his own power at the expense of everyone around him? Big brother, Trian is going to try to kill you. I wouldn't have believed it myself if I hadn't overheard him giving orders to his men. Trian's decided you're a threat to his taking the throne. Maybe he's right. Trian's the named prince, but only the Assembly can proclaim a king. It would be unusual for the Assembly to ignore the king's choice, but it does happen.
The founder of House Bimo became a paragon and king in one move from the Assembly. He was a commoner.
That was an extraordinary case, but at least a half-dozen times the Assembly named a lesser family member, or even someone from another house, as king. Usually, it's the popular younger brother of an undesirable prince. Look at it from his perspective. You're more personable than he's ever been. If you win glory against the Darkspawn tomorrow, it will only strengthen the case for you as the next heir. Trian Veer's father will replace him on the spot. If not, the Assembly will surely turn against him when father dies. You know his pride will never allow him to step aside. It seems Trian has shown that brothers can't always be trusted. I am next in line. If Trian succeeds in his plot against you, how long do you...
Trian and his men will clear the way for the Grey Wardens to descend into the easternmost caverns. Those caverns are still infested by the worst of the Darkspawn. We cannot risk our own troops in there.
Understood, Lord Haramond. We should be able to sense the Darkspawn and avoid them once the way is open.
May the Paragons favor you, and the stone catch you if you fall.
Come then! Glory awaits!
Balin, you and your men will second the king, clearing the main road.
Don't you think it looks a little cowardly to allow these humans to take our place where the fighting is thickest?
Are you questioning the battle plan?
Of course not. I'm sure your caution is for the glory of us all.
Enough, Balin. Take your men and make ready. Paramount and I need to have words with your sibling.
Good luck, my brother.
Your father has a special mission for you.
In the eastern deep roads, there is a secret door carved into the stone.
The door leads to a Taig, abandoned long ago by your ancestors. The Darkspawn have made it impossible to reach.
My father believed that the shield of the Paragon Edukan remains in that Taig, under the stones of the central room. Reclaim the shield, and glory will be yours. My father's writings speak only of the shield. There may be countless other treasures, but only the shield matters.
We've sent 2 scouts ahead to make sure the tunnels are cleared. But be careful. One of the scouts will meet you at the first crossroads you come to. The second will be further in. When you get to the door, use your signet ring to open it. Questions? Very good. The crossroads where you meet the first scout will be the rendezvous point. There you can present the shield to the lords and demonstrate the strength of Edukon.
May the ancestors watch over you, my child.
fight for honor! We must fight! Let's do it quickly.
Here.
You made it, Commander. Did you run afoul of any darkspawn? Still, that was more than we expected. Once I finished scouting the tunnels, I hid here to avoid the darkspawn. Most tunnels are dead ends. The one we want is swarming with those fiends. It's going to be a fight. As you say, onward then.
You're here. I thought the Darkspawn had got you for sure. And I'll make sure I'm behind you if we're swarmed. We want the tunnel ahead, but there are Darkspawn tracks all over it. Be careful. I haven't ventured more than 100 yards ahead for fear of alerting other Darkspawn. I'll follow your lead, Commander.
Looks like someone beat us to the door.
This Darkspawn body is still fresh. Whoever opened the door is most likely still in there.
It could have been stolen. Recently, or generations back.
Or it could be an ambitious cousin out for his own glory.
Understood. Let's move, men.
So glad you could finally join us. We feared you'd gotten eaten by Darkspawn. Turns out the shield isn't quite as easy to retrieve as I was led to believe. I wager you know where it is, though. So maybe you tell me where it is, and I won't mutilate your body so bad your father doesn't recognize you. I'm your better, that's who. And as to how I got in, that's a question you'll have to ask the stone after I butcher you. Now where's the shield? Bit for bite, huh? Both of us banking on killing the other and losing nothing by the telling? Very well. One of Prince Trian's men brought me this ring. It opened the door just fine. Now where is the sodding shield? A funny nobleman, just what the world needs. Now kill these idiots.
Show them no mercy! I'm not afraid of you! Back for House Educan! Mine! Fight for honor! Shall be done.
Is that really Trian's signet ring? Or it may be a warning for us to keep our guard up. Agreed. Now perhaps we should find the shield. This is the room. How do we get the shield? You two, see if you can spot anything. It seems some of these tiles are different from the others. That's it. We've got it.
It doesn't look like much.
The skill of our crafters has come far since then. Still, the Shield of Edukan.
If it helps rally the troops, it's a good thing. We need to get to the other rendezvous point. Back in the direction we came from, at the crossroads.
To the crossroads.
Could be more of those mercenaries.
Very well, Lord Dark. Where were you?
scheming against us, this would be the perfect place for an ambush. We've got the shield, and we're all alone out here. I wish I had your confidence.
What's that you're muttering about? Uh-huh. All right, then.
By the stone, it's Trian.
It must have been a darkspawn attack.
This doesn't look like Darkspawn. No bites, no scratches, no mutilation.
Someone's coming.
Hurry, Father, before it's too...
By all the ancestors, what has happened here?
It seems we weren't fast enough. Balin was right.
My son, tell me this isn't what it looks like.
Dead by your hand.
My lord is innocent.
Sir Gorham, your loyalty makes you a useless witness. It falls to others to tell the story. You, Scout, what happened here?
Trian and his men were here early. It seems they'd done battle with the Darkspawn. Lord Édoukan came up to them all friendly-like, but when we got close, he ordered us to attack.
Then we shall discover the truth.
Frandlin Ivo, you are a good and noble man. Did the scout speak the truth?
He did, my lord. It was terrible. Prince Trian didn't stand a chance. Afterward, my lord stripped his signet ring.
You treacherous bastard!
Silence, Gorham! Do you have anything else to say, my son? I want to believe that. I really do.
Bind him. He will be judged before the Assembly. To Orzammar.
My lord. I would have come sooner had they allowed it. How are you? I understand. It's going to get worse, though. Balin has taken Trian's place in the Assembly. He introduced a motion to condemn you immediately, and it easily passed. He had fully half the Assembly ready to vote on something completely against tradition and justice. He must have been making deals and alliances for months, if not years. He's more clever than either of us ever thought. Some of the lords, especially Harrowmont, are suspicious of Balin's instant rise to power. They are rallying, but far too slowly. The Assembly has already sentenced both of us. My knighthood will be stripped, my name torn from my family records. But I will be allowed to attempt some sort of life on the surface. Lord Harrowmont moved for a similar exile for you, but Balin's supporters overwhelmed him. You were to be sealed in the deep roads to fight Darkspawn until you were overwhelmed and killed. Lord Harrowmont says the king is taken ill. He couldn't bear losing 2 of his children at once. Lord Harrowmont gave me access to see you so I could tell you this. Duncan and the Grey Wardens are still in the deep roads, in tunnels connected to those you are to be left in. If you survive long enough to find the Grey Wardens, you may be able to escape with Duncan. The Grey Wardens don't care about a person's past. They recruit for daring, intelligence, and martial power. If you can find them, I'm sure you can join them and escape the deep roads. They're down there somewhere. It's just a matter of surviving long enough to track them. I begged to go with you and fight at your side, but Balin's pet nobles wouldn't hear of it. I'm going to try to go to Denerim, the human capital. If you make it out, find me. Our time is up. May the Paragons guide your sword and the stone hold you up. I will always be your man, my Lord Edukon.
They are ready for you now. Here is the prisoner, Lord Harrowmont.
Having been found guilty of fratricide by the Assembly of Orzammar, you are hereby sentenced to exile and death. Your name is from this point forward stripped from the records. You are no longer a person, nor a memory. You are to be cast into the deep roads with only sword and shield. Dare to redeem your life by fighting the enemies of Orzammar until your death. Do you have anything to say before the sentence is carried out? I want to believe that. Look me in the eye and tell me you didn't do this for your father's sake. I believe you. That means Balin planned this from the start. Believe me, I will spend the rest of my days making sure Balin does not profit by his deeds. Your father asked me to give these to you. This sword and shield are of fine dwarven make. Strike a blow at our enemies. He is old and this tragedy has hit him hard. He will rest better now, though, knowing the truth. I will. Open the doors and let the condemned walk through. May the stone accept you when you fall.
Quickly, we must fight! Shall be done. Very well.
By the Maker, it's a dwarf.
Lord Edukon, what are you doing here alone? Where are your troops? Ah, you have been made to walk the deep roads, then.
You mean you were exiled? What happened?
I do not think matters of dwarven honor are any business of ours. You need not answer, friend. Lord Trian? I see. The brutal intrigue of the Dwarven court continues then. Your father intimated as much. There is no reason for you to walk these deep roads and die for something you did not do. You've already proven yourself both resourceful and skilled, and I would expect nothing less from an Edukon. I've been searching for those with your level of ability. Your exploits in the deep roads set you apart. As leader of the Grey Wardens in Ferelden, I would like to formally invite you to join our order. Then welcome. We leave immediately for Ostagar to join with the human forces facing the Darkspawn hordes led by King Kaelan. Stay close. There are still Darkspawn around every corner.